Town South and true Batmare, they will put you in the dirt, so you better fast because they suck at the game and they're running out of breath.
Howdy and welcome everybody to episode freaking Lucky 7, Hot 7 of Running Out of Breath, the place to get your marathon podcast listening ears on. I am your host, Old Town South, and it is great to be on the radio, to be in your car speakers right now, to be in your ears while you're cutting grass on the lawnmower, while you're lifting weights at the gym. I just want to take this moment to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for giving this podcast a chance and giving this podcast a listen. And it's been awesome getting to episode 7 already at this point so far. Everybody, we got a doozy for you tonight. I have sent out the bat signal, and we have pulled in a fan and a listener of the Running Out of Breath podcast, and he is with us tonight. And he is taking up the ropes, and he has accepted my challenge. Heads up, everybody! My boy Bat. This is going to be the first episode we cut without him. He had obligations that he had to be at, and he had things to do, but he wishes us all well in spirit, and I promise you all, he will not be gone for long. He will be back very, very shortly. Shout out to Batman. When you're listening to this right now, take care, buddy, and hope you've had a great night with your family and all the things that you had to do. Without further ado, we have AtlasForged with us tonight. I'm going to clap it up for him. Let's go. AtlasForged.
W's right there. W's.
That's W's. Atlas. Talking to you, sir. It's great to have you here, man. I'm going to say it again. Your email was awesome. Hey, by the way, you're a guy.
It just so happens that, yes, we looked into it. We did our research, double-checked our facts. And, yes, in fact, I'm a bro, Now you know the mystery is solved. We were wondering it for a while.
Yes.
But congratulations, we did it.
We did it. And when I got your you said something really funny along the lines of my sexuality has never been questioned so much. As I was reading that, I was literally busting out laughing. That was great, man. Hey, again, I say it to you from dad to dad to gamer to gamer, and I'm even starting to feel from friend to friend. Thank you for that email, and that really warmed my spirits, man, and just appreciate you with that. And hey, Atlas, take this opportunity to I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Take this opportunity to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Whatever you feel comfortable and whatever you would like to share. Tell everybody a little bit about your even though we talked about it the last podcast, but hey, everybody gets to hear it now live from you yourself. Tell everybody about your gaming career, what games you've liked to play all these years and growing up. And then last, but definitely not least, tell us how you discovered Marathon. And what level are you currently, and how many hours do you currently have in the game? Take it away, brother.
All right. Well, Louisiana born and raised. Been working and gaming for what feels like forever, but I'm 35 years old, so I go all the way back to. I remember having a Game Boy with Pokemon Red under my Christmas tree for the first time. I remember gaming with Zelda and a Super Nintendo, right? Mario Kart with the sister growing up, right? Had to defeat her on Rainbow Bridge over and over and over again. And from there, you grow up, you become a young lad, and eventually, at some point, I, heard about Xbox, saw Halo, got that for its release year on Christmas, and that started the shooter journey with Bungie and Halo, right? And so everybody has that similar story, right? Because that's what really brought the gun game to consoles. From there, played Halo 2, of course. That's where my competitive spirit really shown, where you could no longer had to be a LAN party because in real life friends have never been my strongest suit. So you met people online, you played online. Halo 3, Halo Reach. I mean, I play Halo still,
Halo Reach.
at
Yes.
least the story religiously, even all the way up to Infinite, right? Multiplayer wise, after Reach, it kind of fell off for me. Halo 4 didn't quite feel the same, and beyond that.
Yeah, that's fair. And I sort of felt the same. I got really excited about Halo 4. It was good. I enjoyed the campaign. I did enjoy the multiplayer. But you could definitely tell it wasn't Bungie.
No. But I will say, in my opinion, that's where Cortana's story should have wrapped up, in my opinion, because the way that ended, that was heart wrenching. So I will agree with you. The campaign to me is exactly what I wanted Cortana's story to wrap up personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then fast forward, right? Destiny 1 comes out, 2014. Obviously, new Bungie's newest IP. Hit that up, play it, dive into it. I mean, it's everything you could ever ask for, right? Played that. Destiny 2 came out. Played that nonstop. It's probably around the time of Witch Queen, like right before Witch Queen's release, that I kind of like get demotivated a little bit as a PvP player.
Mm-hmm.
From there, that's when I had my next big jump, which was Apex. Played Apex for 3 to 4 years. That I felt really good during those years because you went from a community that really was focused on PvE and the PvP was a side thing to where everyone was on the same page of PvP.
I agree.
And that felt really good, finding people to play with that had the same goals and motivations as yourself.
Yes.
That when that waned off, mostly because it started getting a little too ability heavy for me. I forgot which Apex developer quoted it, but he was describing Titanfall 2 and the reason that it kind of wasn't built upon. And they basically said it's like a sugar rush. You have all these great abilities that all feel really good for a little while, but then you get burnt out really quick, especially when you start dying from places you don't know or you don't know how you died. I thought that was a really good gaming philosophy, and I felt that as Apex all of a sudden just started throwing abilities at all the characters, it wasn't feeling as tactical as before.
Right.
So went to Siege for a little while. Tried a couple little ones. Floated back and forth to Apex every now and again. And then eventually I found myself at Marathon. Right, Marathon was under the radar for me. It was not something I was really interested in, but I really felt, not let down, but let down by Bungie with their PvP focus in Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And, then of course you have all the issues that come out about the game, right? People getting let go, not even the art scandal, but just teams letting go, heads are being removed, sells the company to PlayStation, right? You don't have a lot to get excited about.
Right.
So
yeah.
I really wasn't on the Marathon bandwagon till a week before the Server Slam. And because now everything was on course, everything was being released in its final version, and like that Bungie magic was, in my opinion, still there in full effect. And those trailers caught me like only a Bungie trailer could. I even told my good buddy at the time, hey, I don't think I'm getting the Marathon. We'll wait and see. We're playing Arc Raiders. That's a blast. Not as PvP focused, but still a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be happy there. And I mean, the day of the server slam, I was turned. I downloaded the game. I played it, and I was like, you know what? I hate to say it, I'm diving into this.
Man, great feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you because the direction you went, I'm going to go ahead and ask you the question I told you backstage that the cards I was kind of holding to my chest. So it sounds like, so per what you said, so how much did you pay it about this time last year when the alpha was going on? And I think like everybody had such mixed feelings about this game. Did you take any stock in like the art scandal, the all the rumors about the game? Oh my gosh, this isn't Destiny 3. And lately what I still see YouTube videos about, and I hate to keep bringing it up and up and up and up, but like, talking about like the Steam numbers, Do you take stock in any of that? Was that at the until you tried the Server Slam and until you saw that trailer that kind of hooked you? Was any of that kind of influencing you, or yeah, walk me through that? Because that's kind of the same question I asked Fallen when we interviewed him. Like, do you take any stock in Steam numbers? Does that matter to you if you buy or play a game? If you invest in a game, does how much community sentiment? Like he brought up and before you take it away, like I remember he even brought up a really good point that I didn't even think about. He was like, "Yo, back in our days," he's the same age as us. He was like, back in the day, we looked at Game Informer, freaking Game Informer magazines, bro. Like great memories. Like we like if we paid attention to numbers and or silly stuff, this or that, like we wouldn't have never discovered all the games we played growing up when we were teenagers and everything. But anyways, with all of that being said, did any of that was you bothered that this game wasn't Destiny 3? Did any of the did any of that influence you?
Yeah. So it not being Destiny 3. No, but at the time I had kind of divided from Destiny, right? And that's purely based on I wasn't feeling like my ultimate goal of PvP was being met in Destiny anymore, both by the community, the people involved in, they were a lot more PvE focused, and Bungie themselves. I mean, update after update after update or lack thereof, there's no balancing to the sandboxes, things feel pretty stale. The obvious same subclasses keep running amok, right? So it not being Destiny 3 did not bother me. Your next question, the alpha. So yes, the feedback that the game did not look good or feel polished or feel finished, right? It's an alpha, sure. But when you have games nowadays that are releasing an early access and some of them are feeling better than finished games,
right,
the bar has unfortunately or fortunately been raised higher on expectations, right? So it not feeling good with its unique art style in the alpha was a little, alarming, but also at this time that didn't matter to me because I wasn't interested in the game, right? Because that's a whole nother thing of games being out and announced 5 years in advance. It's like when it's coming out next month, let me know, right?
Right, yeah.
And then Steam numbers. So yes and no. So I do not care about Steam numbers in terms of the games I choose to play, especially back in the day. But we're in a different age. Games now are not just what they are. They have to be updated, maintained. We want new content at it, especially live service games. And a player count lets you know resources and people and kind of how long you have. So you have to think about it, right? So I don't want to sink money and time into a game that's going to wipe out. Okay. That being said, like High Guard would be the closest example. When High Guard launched, I actually enjoyed the game. I thought the game felt fresh. It felt different. It was combining these different things. The developers were working fast. They were communicating, and still, all in all, it shut down. Right. And that sucks. It deflates you when nobody's coming out with anything new, and I feel like everyone is hungry for something new. Marathon's player count probably isn't where people need it to be, but it is nothing that worries me as still, if I can find a game, if I can find a community to be a part of, if I can find people to play with, I'm happy. And you know what? I'm getting that in full stride in Marathon.
I think you brought up I think you brought up a really good point that kind of is on the other side, talking about you can kind of, when it comes to live service games, you can kind of look at a player count and you can be like, hey, this game has 50,000 concurrent players as of yesterday. This game is doing really well. That means, people are buying cosmetics or people are buying the microtransactions. You can come to a pretty educated decision that the game is probably doing very well versus, kind of the way, what the numbers of Marathon have lately been. So I think that actually is I think that's a great point, and that's a great look at the other side of the coin, where I feel like if in the day were to come that I were to ever interview somebody and they answer yes to that question, that they do take a lot of stock in okay, what's the numbers right now? Like how many people are playing this game? You know my thoughts and my opinions. Obviously, obviously I'm a kind of guy like I'm very old school, and if I see something that I like, and I want to play, that's what I want to play. Um, and being or Batman, we're rooting really hard for this game to succeed, and I think a lot of people are counting it out, man, too early. Batman brought up a great point in the last episode. He's like, y'all, this game is 3 months old. It's a baby. It's a baby. Like, it's gonna get better. They're gonna, we hope at least. That's what we're rooting for. Bungie is, excuse me, sorry, I'm drinking ginger ale. This game's gonna get better. They're gonna do some updates. Cool things have already been announced that's coming down the pipe. But great feedback, man. That was awesome.
And like I think especially the players, if you're looking at a community, you want to come on board. You want to come on board something that's growing and expanding and doing well, right? You don't want to feel like you're coming on to something that is dying out. And I think, at least for me, my most recent example is Highguard. Like it's like, okay, I'm not worried about that. I'm enjoying. I'm having fun. They have a lot of cool stuff you can earn. Right, earning stuff is a really, really big key thing for me. Developers are working on it. They're adding this. They're adding that. And I mean. It doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, that journey ended, and I was only a brief part of that journey.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, if I'm someone looking along, if I go back in time to a phase where, like, okay, I played Destiny, I played Apex, I'm looking for something different, but nothing's really hitting the mark. When I look at games and I'll look, I'm like, okay, do we want to hop into this? And I see that player count is at a really red number. Yeah, it may make someone who's more on the fence say, okay, I don't want to go into that because I don't know what this is going to do. Let me find something else that has more staying power. But to Bat's point, absolutely, we're 3 months in, right?
Yes.
Now, there's also the other argument I've seen where extraction shooters will reach their low as the season progresses. And when the new season comes and the wipe happens, things will pick up. This is my first extraction shooter besides Arc Raiders. I've never played one before, right?
Interesting.
So,
okay.
And Arc Raiders doesn't have a wipe, so I have never experienced that to see. So, like, I think that's a good viewpoint. We'll see what happens. New people. I know everybody's, of course, talking about like the new modes they're adding, potential PvE, and I think that's all good additions. Now they're light additions in the middle and the end, but still, like, I've never been a part of a game with a seasonal wipe that wasn't like a Destiny sunsetting expansion kind of a thing. So, what it does to players and energies, I don't know, but I'm excited about it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We will see what happens. If all the listeners were to go back a couple of episodes, you would hear me. You can put this receipt on me. You would hear me take the stance of, at that time, I forget which episode it was. I kind of took the stance of, I'm not so sure how I'm gonna feel about the wipe, especially because of all the hard work we've put into the contracts and how difficult that some of these resources are to come by. You know what though? As I've slept since then. I've played since then. I've thought about it. I've thought some more on it since then. I am actually going to kind of go back on my answer a little bit right there. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to the reset because I'm noticing maps like Perimeter and Dire Marsh, they're getting I can definitely tell they're a lot sweatier right now, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. I'm not sitting here saying that's a bad thing, but like I can definitely tell the bar has raised and the competition is raised. People, I mean, you can't hardly. I almost at this point, as of the game right now, May 24, 2026. If you go into Perimeter or Dire Marsh and you do not, and at least one person on your team does not have a sniper rifle, tell me if you disagree. I think you're playing at I think your team is at an actual disadvantage. If at least one person on your team on those two maps doesn't have a sniper rifle.
Yeah, no, the range is definitely challenging, right? And the required movement and coordination of a team in general, not even a pre-built versus a random team, to counter that by moving without being in those ranges, it's difficult, nay impossible.
Yeah.
But even to your point, not just the sweats, right? And I always love the comment of sweats because I feel like no one's trying to lose on the match, but like the gear, right? Everyone has purple shields now.
Yes.
right? So like it's harder for new people to come on board, and the fights are more challenging. Where like it used to be in perimeter, everyone kind of had white and green shields. Now they're burning through that vault. We're going through that. Loot's kind of coming a lot more freely. They've gotten all their upgrades over their time, right? I mean, even myself, I think I just got the blue shield purchasable upgrade about a week ago. Right?
Yes. So for me, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but yeah, I got that one too.
Yep. Violin seeds. I know everybody loves collecting those. It's everyone's favorite hobby. But honestly, to Bat's point too, like there's nothing with violin seed that I really wanted mega focus besides that shield upgrade. So like I know you need like 52 or 57, he said. But honestly, I just needed to get up to the point where I could just get the 7 of them to get that, and I got most of them from the packages of the factions.
Agreed. Me too. That's how I got
Yeah,
most of mine.
and I will give a shout out to Bungie if they ever listen to our beautiful voices. Carrie helped me rack up faction progression so effortlessly with just playing the game. I
Yes.
feel like that really amped up my progression to where I feel where I'm at now, where I know without it, I would still not have VIPs for a lot of the different factions and corporations. So shout out to that. I love it.
Shout out, yes. I agree. I mean, I know it feels like I'm just agreeing, but you're just dropping good points. Yeah, the carry system. Me and Bat, we love the carry system. We've bragged on it in the past. It absolutely helped me VIP. Almost. I mean, at this point, the only faction I do not have VIP is Sakaguchi, but the others was most thanks to Carry. And a lot of those resources that you mentioned, yeah, I actually hit those. There's an option if you use like 50 carry points, you can get like a deluxe crate. It's RNG on what it'll give you, but I even find myself talk chase. I even find myself still hitting that up, and getting some resources. But yeah, and through contract completion, through leveling up, that's honestly, I just can't hardly find the violins. I have found them, and sometimes I have found them and just died. I couldn't extract, but yeah, like I know, like if I'm having trouble, obviously I am by no stretch of the imagination one of the more skilled players. I will always consider myself an underdog, but I know like if I'm struggling, I know there's a lot of other people that struggle. And so I would hope they could find a way, because we talked about it before. Johnny 40 hours sweat a week. He's going to get his.
Yep.
He's going to get it. One way or the one carry system, no carry system, Johnny 40 hour, he's going to get it. And what I like about it is that gives us an opportunity to kind of, compete with Johnny 40 Sweat that we're going to meet in Cryo Archive and now Perimeter and especially Dire Mars. So, yeah, all, oh my gosh, yeah, all banger stuff, good stuff. I had something else. I had something else I was going to say, but any final thoughts on any of that before I go on to the next segment?
No, I mean, the only other thing I would say is I know you guys have constantly brought up a point of an exchange program, right? Where like you could turn a whole bunch of grays into a green, a whole bunch of greens into a blue, vice versa.
Yes.
I'll be honest, when I look at the world, because I also love the lore of Marathon, right? I never played the original trilogy. I've watched, of course, YouTube videos on them across from all kind of different people. Never played them. But the only reason lore-wise I struggle with that is because I think all the factions want what you're taking from Tau Ceti. So they don't really have a way to give you a Tau Ceti thing that you need to upgrade because they wanted themselves, right?
Yeah.
But I would love, once again, go back to an old traditional thing, a way to craft it, right? Maybe a way on the map of events and stuff that lets you pick specific ones you want, where the event lets you create things. More targeted goals or even contracts that lead you to create something specific on the map that you're looking for. I think targeted working towards it would be my solution, not an exchange program. But either way, I think they realized that, which is why they introduced so many things late into the season to help everybody catch up to the people who have more time or who in RNG Jesus wasn't on your side, right? If you never came across it and found it, or you got killed every time you got it, not a whole lot you can do about it, right?
Yeah, great points.
But no, other than that, I think that's all stuff. And like you said early in the beginning, 3 months in, This is the first season. I think they've even said, like, for example, ranked that I've played. That's a beta this season for them. They're taking
Yes.
in feedback, tweaking it, and launching it again. So, like, once again, live service game, it will not be the same game it is now that it'll be for 6 months from now, let alone a year from.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. Are you still with us, by the way?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
here.
awesome, good deal. Yeah, no, great. And it's, speaking of the looking at it from a lore perspective, honestly, I'm cool with that too. Anyway, just to help us out a little bit more with the resources, I'm cool with that too. And I haven't thought of it that way from like a lore perspective, like you are working with these vendors and you're these different contractors and you're getting, it's your job to go to Tau City and to go to these dangerous areas and find these resources for them. By the way, I need to do a better job of keeping up with the lore and really taking it in. But from what videos I've saw and everything, dude, the lore is actually pretty cool to this game.
Yeah, Bungie always weaves great lore. Halo lore was fantastic. Destiny lore was downright poetic. Like Bungie's always been great with their sci-fi worlds, and Marathon is no different. You have a really rich, and in this case, a brand new world to kind of dive into that has some stuff you can pull from, right? But even if you come in new, if you knew nothing else about the old games, you got a really great story and fresh lore for a fresh based game. You do not need to dive into any of that old stuff to appreciate this. But yeah, I mean, yes, Bungie still has its reading, right? It has your little voice acting with the lore that you collect, but they have made that better than ever before with the codex. Like, it is so easy to pull it up per map, listen, read, take it in. Like, yeah, it is downright awesome. And I can't wait to see where they take it moving forward.
I completely agree. And I think what I'm about to say, this has not been talked about in a while. Do you remember, like, a month or two ago when like we didn't even have access to Cryo Archive and the community had to like solve the puzzle? Like
Yes.
like how cool is
Yeah.
that? Like I feel like that's something that's just kind of been told because we've had Cryo for it what feels to be like forever now. Like that's something that's just been completely like how cool was that? Like there was a mystery aspect to it. There's this creepy dude, like some of those cutscenes, like I wish I'd have been streaming, dude, at some of those cutscenes with that
Yes,
creepy
I should rewatch
voice,
them.
like talking to you. Like, what's his name? Because I've listened to what's that dude's name that's talking to us?
So I think it's pronounced one of two ways, either Durandal or Durandal. I call him Durandal.
Yes, Durandal. Yes, that's him.
Yep.
He
Yeah, that's
sounds
the
like
AI.
he sounds sinister. Now I have not. I need to do a better job of getting into the lore. But like, dude, he sounds like he could be like a big bad one day, or like I don't know, dude. Like some of those cut scenes were a banger.
Yeah, he right now he really feels like the big villain. Like he like it's already this, and who knows, maybe he ends up being an ally, but damn, does he just feel like the perfect overarching villain that's always there, always helping you or hurting you, depending on whether that helps him or hurts him. And his voice and what he talks about and the way he talks is just so, yeah. Like I play D&D, and like I would compare him to some of the great D&D villains that just is always teasing something in front of the party. It's amazing.
Something that, and this is going to open up to our next segue that I wanted to briefly talk about. When Vanilla Destiny was like, this was, in my opinion, almost at its best, was like the mystery aspect. Now you gotta put your brain back to 2014 where streaming was a thing, YouTube was a thing, but it wasn't nowhere near as mainstream, no pun intended, then as it is right now. And like I said, it was still hot then, but like it's even bigger now. Like guides, like how a guide had to do this, a guide had to do that, blah blah blah. I mean, just resources and access is everywhere. But like what made especially Destiny 1, dude, so freaking unique was all the mystery. I mean, there was a time, Atlas, there was a time when you found an exotic, it was exotic. It's like, whoa, the Mida multi-tool. That was my first exotic, by the way. That I got it from a Nightfall. you're like, what is this? Like, dude, this is a gold tier. Like, what is this thing? Like, dude, a raid. And by the way, spoiler alert, the next segment is we're going to talk about Destiny, and just I feel like I've got to pay a little respects to it just for a few moments. But like freaking dude, like the raid, the Vault of Glass, like not watching, never experiencing a six-man, never experiencing a raid in general, let alone a six-man fire team raid. There were no guides like when we did it, and it was just pure mystery. Like, what is a nightfall? What is, like, to me, that's sometimes when games are like peak. And Bungie does such a good job at build up. Like, even they used to even do this in Destiny. Like, there would be these cutscenes. There would be these community events. Like, do you remember back in Destiny 2 Forsaken? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, in Forsaken Destiny 2, the dungeon didn't even unlock until a fire team beat Riven. Am I correct on that?
Not sure if it was a dungeon, but you are correct that a team had to do it one time to unlock it for everyone else.
It was something. A team had to beat Riven, had to beat the raid, and it unlocked something.
I think what it did is, I think that's where the Dreaming City started its rotation, and it was basically week after week it would change, and we found out that it was actually trapped in a repeating cycle. I could be wrong in that, but that's what I thought I remember it activating.
I think you're right. I think because I think it seems like I remember the Dreaming City kind of began changing. Like I think it started kind of like getting the Taken stuff around it and all that. God, dude, I've slept since then. It's been so long I can't remember. But the moral of that is like Bungie kills it, dude, with like mystery and like build up. And I hope, like you said, if they ever listen to our sexy voices in this podcast, I hope they keep lean into that, Bungie. Don't stop. Keep leaning into that. Build us up to something. Leave something a mystery. Give us breadcrumbs. Give us little slices. Like I eat that up. And segue into what I wanted to say, I think I want to take this moment, and I have seen a lot of YouTubers posting their farewell videos to Destiny and everything, because it has been announced that Destiny 2 live service is wrapping up its 12-year run on June the 9th. And I'm going to be honest with you, Atlas. I was actually a little bittersweet when I saw that. I have not played Destiny in going on about 2 years now. I missed the peak content, which was the final. Of course, I didn't play none of the new stuff, and then I missed the peak one, which is Final Shape. Still have regrets on that. But, man, I just want to take this moment to say, like, I know this is a marathon podcast, but we honestly talk other games in general, too. But that, Destiny 2, like, thank you for the memories, man. I don't know what other people are saying, but I'm gonna speak from the heart here. Thank you, Destiny 2, for the memories. Like I was just talking about earlier, Vault of Glass, dude. The first time back in 2014 when I went in the Vault of Glass with my two cousins and some friends I was a Titan main, and we just didn't know anything. And when we ran into that first boss, dude, like we spent a week trying to figure out how to beat that first boss, man. Like, just such good memories. Oh my gosh, raids, dungeons, strikes, beating a Grandmaster Nightfall for the first time in Destiny 2. Like, friends I made through the Destiny community. Batman, Sammy the Bull, like I could just go, all the FYC people that I met, like, oh my gosh, like I could just go on and on. Even people back from Destiny 2 that I haven't heard of from forever. Like, the first time I went, when I would compete in Trials of Osiris, going to the Lighthouse for the first time. Honestly, I could turn this episode alone if I kept running my mouth just a Destiny, but Destiny. But I think I just want to take that moment and say, like, I will forever be grateful for Destiny 2. It had a great run. I personally think one day we are going to get a Destiny 3. And we could probably go down a whole rabbit hole about, some people are blaming Marathon that it's not Destiny 3. And I don't think that's the case personally. I think Marathon could potentially just be a bridge, like a little stopping point to Destiny 3. But like I think ultimately Destiny 2 is wrapping up because it's just been out for so long. And from what I've heard, the final shape was the final act, the final shape. Like that was the light and darkness conclusion, but it had a great run, man. And I actually am a little sad as much as I'm loving Marathon and everything, and I haven't played it Destiny in years, but I just want to say, like, it will truly always have a special place in my heart. Anything you would like to say on Destiny wrapping up on June 9th, and just anything you'd like to add in that?
Oh yeah. First exotic, I actually got the Gallarhorn from Xur when he sold it that first week in Destiny 1.
No shot.
Yep, and he never brought it back like after that for like years. People talked about it. I got it when it was sold by Xur.
Yo, that's so cool. You are one of the few that got it from Xur. What?
Yep. So like, and that's it, right? Destiny created memories that are you don't get in the real world, right? Like you've got to be in a fantasy world with friends doing things you've never done in shooters before Destiny, which is platforming, puzzle solving, mechanics, team coordination on a high level to pass through. And even then, grinding for gear, like, dude, like, talk about mastering downtime. I got nothing to do today. I'm gonna sign online and grind for this gun that I want this particular role on, right? Sometimes it's just downright peaceful.
Agreed.
And I mean, Destiny defined my gaming from my early 20s to honestly my early 30s.
Yes.
It will always it is how all games are judged moving forward, especially the ability to self-express, to pick the guns I want into a fight, the abilities I want, who I am, my identity. Like, I love self-expression in games. I bother the hell out of my family every day as I show them my 10 Destroyer skins, and I'm like, hey, which one of these colors do you think best represents my personality, right? Like, that is the kind of stuff that makes me happy as I invest myself into the world, and Destiny put that in me because Destiny allowed me to do that. I love to look at the fashion Reddits of Destiny, people like crazy color combinations, especially once you can transmog the images. Like, oh my god, and look, Destiny is never a game that I wanted to move on to. It is something I had to move on from because the PvP side, right?
Right.
I did all those things because I eventually wanted to go and throw down in a competitive environment. So I will go and play for 2 weeks straight to get the perfect gun that is my gun to then take into multiplayer. Trials. I mean, as much as a raid is great, and my first lighthouse, I cannot tell you how it felt to have my first lighthouse visit after like months of playing it and earning gear but not getting it right. The first time you completed that card and got to go, like, it's beautiful. It's
it
a
really
beautiful
is.
thing.
Yes, preach. I mean, it is a euphoric feeling almost. Like I was blessed and privileged enough to have caught one of my lighthouse runs on stream. Do you remember in Destiny 2 they did this little thing for a while where you could queue and it would find you teammates? I don't know, and I don't even know how often they did that, but I actually went to the lighthouse one time. It was during the DLC. Okay, it was after Witch Queen. What was the name of it? It was before Final Shape, but it was after Witch Queen.
Lightfall.
During that time, I actually, I went to the lighthouse about 3 times all in all, 3 or 4. But that was such a beautiful moment, catching that on. Like, I almost teared up, dude. Like, it's so because you and I both know for guys like us, how challenging it is.
Oh, it is.
To get to the lighthouse.
It is. Dude, and they can, like, take Marathon, right? You're not getting one hit killed by anything unless you have, really low shield. And that one, you got a sniper ripping your head off. You got a dude that's somehow able to somersault through your team with a shotgun. Like, and you're sitting there going, like, how did he do it? And how could I possibly stop them? And you got no answer, right? Like, it's they were devastating.
Yes.
And so to get there, and that goes into the same thing you also brought up. They do well, which is a sense of wonder. Great advice is you only get one chance to experience a game for the first time. And it's crazy, but with raids and difficult activity like the Lighthouse, like all the raids they produced, like Cryo Archive, which I have just experienced for the first time this week, right? You get one time to do it. So to be able to go in blind and experiencing it, and then knowing they're releasing raids and difficult activities, so you get to have a fresh experience over and over and over again as they release that stuff, all the world's first races, it is truly a beautiful thing. And especially if you have people that are willing to go and say, hey, we're not going to look up any guides, we're not going to look at any tips. We're gonna go and play this till we figure it out on its own.
Yes.
No one does that nowadays.
No one does that.
It is such a lost art. So you have no choice. Like as I was looking for people to play with, they're like, "Oh, you need to go watch these videos." I'm like, "Does anyone want to do a run that like isn't looking at videos?" Oh no, I've already looked at all the videos. Okay, nothing you can do about that, right? You don't want to not experience it, but man, to be a part of a team of people that wants to go in and says, "We don't know anything because this is brand new." It's the most difficult stuff you have to come with. You're going to have to figure out some weird, you got to shoot here while activating this puzzle while this person jumps up, he has to jump up twice as high as the other person. And you only figure that out after dying 250 times to it. Like, and some people do it in a race in like an hour and a half. Like, it's just beautiful. And Destiny defined, it is why I feel all shooters have had to be elevated on so many levels. Destiny, Bungie, they defined a decade of the best shooter, in my opinion.
Yes.
And you got Call of Duty, you got Modern Warfare, you got all that. But at the end of the day, that is not as unique or special, in my own personal opinion, as what Bungie has produced with Halo, with Destiny. And I know no one likes it, but like I feel that same magic like I did with those games with Marathon. That's why I'm here talking to you on a podcast.
It hints you being here. You just basically picked my brain, and I cannot. Elvis just walked off the stage, and I cannot top that. So that was wonderfully said, man. And I even thought about this the other night. Like, dude, when I get downs and drops and kills and Marathon, dude, I don't know what. I do know what it is. It's just that Bungie feel that. Dude, it's just such a dopamine hit when you get a down on somebody in Marathon versus, and obviously, opinion, but like Call of Duty, and even I love Apex, but like, Apex, or I love Overwatch, but like,
it's different.
Dude, it feels just better. It just feels so good when you get a down, especially if you get a squad wipe. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that feels good.
Anyone who's played a Bungie game knows that when you say this is a Bungie shooter, they know what you mean. That doesn't need clarification from anyone who's played one.
Absolutely. I'm going to read off the notes a little bit here. So we got Bungie, following the announcement of Destiny 2 live services wrapping up its 12-year run on June 9th, angry fans began review bombing Marathon on Steam, tanking the recent rating to 77% under the theory that Destiny died so Marathon could live. And then I got a little section here, the retaliation, highlight how the Marathon community has fought back. Oh, apparently I've been under a rock, Atlas. I haven't known any of this is going on. Apparently, like, there's been an attrition for reviews and percentages and ratings, but apparently the Marathon community has fought back and tried to boosting Steam with positive reviews to defend the game. Dude, I tell you what, I've missed out on all that because I guess that's just the best way to say I missed all that because there's certain social media sources I don't have and I don't keep up with. I took the time before we recorded this podcast and I went on Steam myself and I went to Marathon and I took a little peek at something. So check this out, man. I'm going to throw a little numbers at you and for everybody. Total amount of reviews on Steam regarding the game Marathon as of May 24th, 2026. 51,342 reviews. Of those 51,342 reviews, 43,240 are positive reviews. 8,102 of that number are negative reviews. The percentage is 84% out of 51,342 reviews. 84% of reviews on Marathon are positive. 15, about almost 16% of reviews are negative. Numbers never lie, but they don't always tell the full story. But I'm going to tell you what I take from that. The people that are playing Marathon. What's funny is apparently, well, my notes here, there's some truth to that, because apparently if it did go back to 77, if it did go to 77%, it's at this, as of this recording, sitting at 84%. So I guess the community did go to bat, but it seems like the people, Atlas, that are playing this game are very passionate about this game. I know the numbers bounce around a lot, and I couldn't tell you right now what the concurrent player count is, but it seems like the people that are playing this game see it like me and you and appreciate it for what it is. What's your thoughts on any of that I said?
Yeah. So first thing is, it also adds to how much can you trust, right? Because you have people leaving negative reviews purely because another game of theirs was dropped. And look, I get it, right? I just told you, Destiny defined a decade. It is some people's still main game of choice. And to have it go down, I mean, it sucks. It hurts. You're angry. You got grief, right? You do things you don't want to do. I will say personally, as a person in the marathon community, and I'm very small, I do absolutely nothing besides play a whole lot and listen to a podcast and post on Reddit if anyone wants to play with me. I have never felt more like it's a great community that feels good and have good people in it, but at the same time, simultaneously feel like I'm hated by everyone else outside of that community, right? It gets and we get a lot of flack. So at the end of the day, what this numbers represent to me is how resilient our community is in growing at such a small level on a game that came out 3 months ago, right?
It is not popular right now to defend Marathon. It's not popular.
Nope.
You're kind of the under, you said it well. Like it's not popular to defend Marathon right now.
No, but the community that we have, like, look, we're welcoming. We have no, like, look, it sucks for us too. We don't want Destiny to end, right? I want Bungie to make more money, so much so that they can give resources to everyone. I didn't make those decisions, nor do I think that Marathon needs to take flack because of Sony having to follow the dollars and cents as a company. I can respect that as well. But to see the community come together to protect, because that's been Marathon's big thing. It's had nine scores from most review platforms. The ratings are high. That's why Sony said in its preference meeting that it's able to retain the people that have been playing it, that they're coming back regularly.
Yes.
We need to keep that positive score as our little victory as we continue to grow, because when I'm a person who doesn't pay attention to all that, I'm looking for a game to play. Hey, look, here's 10,000 people playing. Here's some great reviews. Everyone's liking it. That hopefully will maybe be for a couple of people that breaking point where, like, let me come in and try it, right? But make no mistake, it is not an easy thing when you feel like all the other communities, I say all the other, right? You know, the big thing is Destiny, but there's a lot of people who are rooting for Marathon to fail. Like, you know, and people have talked about this, the another Concord, right? The people who are rooting for another Concord failure game after game after game. It's just like, look, stop rooting for something to fail. Root for the thing you want to play and to win. We don't need to root for someone to lose. People have to lose. That happens. But why is rooting for a loser the fun thing?
I kind of went on a WWE promo about that in the last episode. Like, why are we rooting for games to fail? Like, do we not? Don't we don't we all want good new games? Like, why are we rooting for something to fail? Like, that's weird. That's weird. I guess that's a weird thing now. But yeah, man. Well said. I also, like I said, I want, like you said, I want Bungie to do well. I also did not want Destiny 2 to die. Like, it would make me happy if Destiny still had 90,000 play, all kinds of people still playing it. But I don't think it's a fair jab to blame everything like that Marathon is the one and only reason why Destiny 2 is shutting down. I don't think that. I think
not,
that's
right?
I think that's a little bit of a low blow.
Now, I will say this. I will give maybe not a hot take. Destiny 2 should have went into, in my opinion, and once again, maybe some loose strings, but Destiny 2 should have went into maintenance mode after the final shape, after the conclusion of the saga we had been building towards for 12-ish years, right? The extra year they got out of it, and once again, I didn't play it, so take that with a grain of salt. But the lightsaber Star Wars crossover, I don't really like crossovers much. I like it when universes are really true to themselves, but to each their own, right?
Right.
The story that came out, I know a lot of people said they liked the campaign, but the mechanics weren't there, wasn't as intuitive, it was kind of on the smaller side. But to me, it's just they tried to stretch it out without a big grand plan. And honestly, Destiny 2 should have stopped there for a while to either figure out the path forward or to wrap it up and to move something everything else. I even heard people talk that the other issue was that Marathon got pushed back, right? So then that created this issue of, okay, if Marathon's not ready to come out, we need to keep this going along to get some resources coming in. Because make no mistake, Bungie leadership left it in a spot where the Bungie leadership that sold it left Bungie in a spot where they were really at the mercy of Sony, because Sony just paid $3.6 billion for a studio that had one IP that's failing or ending, wrapping up, and another one that's not doing a whole lot.
Right.
Because it's not out yet. But no, I agree completely. Like, I feel for Destiny. I didn't want Destiny to end. Hopefully, Destiny makes the comeback. Now, I would make the argument, I think Destiny maybe shows up in something new, maybe not a Destiny 3, but kind of like how Destiny Rising is, not a mobile gamer, but something like that, where it's not continuing that story, maybe telling side stories. But the question to me is that I still wonder is, where do they go?
Yeah.
You just completed Light and Dark. What new cosmic threat is out there that we caught no hints of?
I also agree. I also agree with you on the and I don't know what the community sentiment is, so I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But I agree with you. Perhaps they, after Final Shape, they should have took a little time to really see, like, where did they want to go next and everything. I actually agree with that. And I will say this, because if I'll squirrel brain, I want to say something. And if I don't say it now, I will forget to say it. If one good thing came out of when everybody kind of this time last year was saying, oh, this don't look good about Marathon, this art style looks dinky, look how bad the UI is, what all the things they were saying. Marathon, I think you said it already. It got delayed. Marathon, I think some may forget this. Marathon was supposed to come out earlier than March 5th. It was originally supposed to come out like several months earlier.
I think like early 2025, 2024. Yeah, it got pushed back significantly and made the improvements it needed to do. Once again, like a game being delayed. Look at GTA 6, right? I'm sure to be the greatest game ever of all time. And it had delay after delay after delay. Delay should lead to better product.
Yeah, should. Yeah.
And with Marathon, it did. Like,
it did.
The game, I had no interest in the game, and then that Server Slam came, and I was like, the magic's here. I'm hooked. Game over. Like, let's play. Let's go. And the feedback that was concerning up to that, they addressed it. I mean, take the art scandal, right? At the end of the day, they made that right with the artist. The artist got a call out. I'm sure they got paid for it, and now their art is the signature style of a shooter game, like from Bungie. That's an awesome nod. We all make mistakes. Things happen. Sometimes people do stuff they're supposed to do, but they made it right? Like, that's what matters, is the steps after that they take.
I agree. That's that. And we talked about that in his interview, and it kind of hit home with him a little bit, because he said, I am an artist, but he essentially said the same thing. Like, they made it right. I ain't holding a grudge over him, but I'm paraphrasing on what he said, but he essentially got around to like, I'm not going to hold it against them because they made it right with that person.
And look, I'm honest. Like I have nothing against artists and this, that, the other. Let's say they reached some conclusion and that's all they wrote. I have no idea if they made it right, made it wrong, but it was settled. Do I think that's going to stop me from getting the game after the game looks good and feels good? No, probably not. Like if it still delivered, it still had the style right. So I felt like they did good steps to be great people in that situation. And why the stuff was taken, how it taken, I don't know. I will never know. But all what I see, I'm happy with how it resolved.
Yes, yes, sir. Great conversation. Great feedback. Love it, love it. All right, we're gonna jump into our next segment. I've got this called "War Stories from Our Past Weekend." Atlas, I know you've listened, and you know me and Bat's style, and one of our styles to this podcast is we love telling stories about how our week went with matches. So I'm going to start with May 19th. And I actually have in the notes here the Atlas intro. We basically, man, May 19th, that is the night we linked up with you, the magic flowed, and I am happy to say, because that so easily could have been a night where like, hey, what's up, guys? We were all happy to see you, but the games just went awful.
Yep.
Like that could have easily happened because we had never played with each other and we didn't know each other's play styles. And I mean, honestly, personalities, there was a lot, but I mean, I'm happy to say, hence here you are on the live podcast. The vibes were great and our personalities did mesh up and we hit it off immediately. And on top of that, our matches went good. And I want to take this moment, and I love building other people up. I'm the type of guy for like Christmas, like sure, I love to get Christmas presents or this whatever, but it makes me happier to see other people getting the Christmas presents that they want, or especially if it's like me, like I bought somebody something and I know it's something they really want, and I'm just more excited for them to open up the present. What I'm trying, I like to edify people. I like to build people up. I like to see other people succeed and reach their goals and everything. And dude, I'm gonna take this moment. I'm gonna build you up. You had a game on May 19th where me and Bat, surprise, surprise, died. Surprise. And you clutched hard. I know it was at least a 1v2. It may have even been a 1v3, but the specific moment I'm talking about is when that bubble shield was down and you were either rezzing me or you were looting, and somebody in the third, we were kind of all like, okay, but where's the third at? But we had felt kind of fairly confident the storm had calmed, and out of nowhere, they pushed you in that bubble. Your reflexes, now you were playing the perfect class for that moment, but credit to you, you took advantage of the destroyer's abilities and you just reacted to that so quickly, and you flinched or jetpacked, whatever he does, like you flinched backwards, you repositioned and you re-engaged in the fight, and by God, you downed him too, and you absolutely clutched what was gonna be a losing scenario. I can tell you right here and right now, I'd have died right there. If that had been me, I would have died. I would have let my team down, and I said, all right, boys, let's go next. I would not. You're a better player than me. So that was cool to see that.
No, not a better player than you.
I'm going to be well, actually, before I build you up more, feel free to talk about May 19th a little bit, and that night, that first night, linking up with me and Bat, how the game's at. From whatever you can remember, feel free to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you described everything perfectly. I'll go to that particular moment because I actually flipped to that moment. right? I've watched that moment several times over. I was reviving Bat, and the fire was coming down on Outpost, right? So I needed the bubble shield down to not take damage to mess up the revive. And the thief comes in shooting and takes out my shields as I thrust her to the left. And I pull out the railgun, I charge it. She comes out after me. I pop her with a quick aim down sights, let go, and thrust back in the opposite direction so she can't track me. And yeah, it was the old zig and zag kind of situation. But yeah, that felt amazing, especially since, like you said, I don't want to play. I'm terrible. And these guys are like, oh man, this dude's dead weight. So it felt good to be able to like show like, all right, I can help the team, right? I can participate well.
I look good. Hey, I didn't fumble in front of the boys.
Right, yeah. That's just so hard. You see so many people that like you need to have skill where like be competent in your PvP, and you don't want to just be someone who's like, oh yeah, I could do it. I don't want to say I could 1v3, but I 1v6 a lot, So like to know that like my base skill level is there. Once again, I've been playing PvP games for 15 years. That's what I do. It's what I love to do, and I love to try my hardest. Right? I don't have the skill of a sweat, but I have the effort of a sweat.
I like that.
And yeah, it felt good to be able to pull something together and be like, all right, cool. I putting up my proof is pudding that like, all right, here's my skill level for when we play, and hopefully that's enough. Because you do need a certain level of meshing, right? On personalities, on joking, on play style, and skill. Sometimes that skill gap can be really big, and it can be so like to have us be at similar levels, in my opinion, not better, similar. It felt really good. Really good.
Yes, sir. I mean, you done great that night. Batman done good. We got out with some good loot. It was overall. I've played a lot, and like I said, I have had this whole week off. I've had just a lot going on personally, and I had to take some. Me and my wife, we just had obligations to our son, and we just had things we've had to do. So I've been off this week, and kind of in the later hours, such as right now, I've just had more opportunity to play more. So I've gotten in a lot of games. So I can't even remember a lot of things play by play like I actually usually do, because we usually don't get to play as much. Sometimes me and Bat only really get to play. I will speak for me. I only get to play usually with like Bat or Fallen or whoever. Sometimes just on Fridays, and maybe if we're lucky a little bit into Saturday. And sometimes that's all she wrote. Life has just been real. We've just had a lot going on, and things have just been busy. But you done great, man. That was a good night for you, and I'm going to build you up some more here. Last night, technically it was today because we were playing real late last night. It was like midnight when we were playing, but dude, you've also experienced your first cryo run. It wasn't last night, but you've experienced your first cryo run with me and Fallen. Unfortunately, we died, but we were competitive that first night. Your first cryo run, we were competitive. I feel like we'll focus on that night for a second. I actually made this statement yesterday before we queued up. I will speak for me that I was about 4 to 5 hours deep into the stream, and I wear out kind of quickly. My eyes start just kind of fatiguing, and even my ears, as weird as that sounds, my ears kind of start fatiguing. So I was just overall kind of fatiguing, and I wasn't as sharp as I kind of normally am when we did that. And poor Fallen, I think I never like speaking for people, but I think if he were, and he is going to listen to this, but I think he would also confirm that he had a long day. He had been up for a really long time, and he wasn't, firing all cylinders due to sleep. Just hasn't slept in a while. He just needed rest. So I feel like that night actually things could have went different if me and him was just a little more, sharp. And I think our biggest thing playing against us that night was, I think we were just sort of, as a team, indecisive, and we just wasn't committing to something. But that was your first cryo run, and that was like my 6th, 7th-ish cryo run, so I still definitely don't have that map memorized. And then Fallen was, he was wearing down too because he had been up a long time. So I feel like that was kind of one of the biggest things playing against us is we just weren't, we were hesitating a little bit, like, okay, and we were also losing time because we were kind of hesitating. But the team that beat us, just flat out did win a fair. They did win a fair heads up. I can't remember exactly how that fight went down, but Atlas, any thoughts on how your first Cryo Archive match went with me and Fallen?
So, at least to me, right? To any listeners that haven't played, Cryo definitely, and even Outpost to some degree, but Cryo definitely had that Bungie dungeon raid feel. I wish I could load in and just explore and look hard and just listen to the map, feel the map, because like got a lot of things going forward, which is awesome. And it feels so like all the maps feel so different to one another. Playing on it right, once again, it's got a big PvE focus. Like, yes, there are players on the map you're going to have to take care of or avoid to the best of your abilities, which probably isn't going to happen. But, like, you got to learn how to quickly and effectively put down these bots you fought since your time on perimeter. It was awesome to see that skill kind of come front and center as you're needing to do that, to get security clearance to move through the map. The creaks and the groans that you can hear as you're stepping, the footsteps, the map. Once again, you're always afraid you're building something up, and then when you get to experience it, it's a letdown. No, it delivered the mystery, the feel, and the aura that I had not. And once again, my first time playing it after being with Marathon since launch, it was totally there, which I loved. But no, to your point, I would agree. I think Fallen, especially as Fallen probably is the most skilled of us. He took the lead. He's played the most Cryo, and I think he was just a little tired. And not having a clear direction of the team is always a downside, right? I've always been, hey, look, I want one voice. That way we have one vision. If you're the team leader, tell us what to do, how to do it, and let's do it. And we just kind of lost that as we're like, okay, well, we don't have to go to the vault. Okay, well, we can do this. The only other thing that it brought to my attention, and we'll touch upon this later when we hit like the patch notes, is downs at a distance, which when we first engaged that team, we did down someone with the railgun, which I've totally been loving lately. But then it's like, okay, now what do I have, 8 seconds till they get revived, or now it's 12 to 16 seconds till they're self-revived. Mm-hmm. So how do I close the distance effectively, safely, get there to apply pressure and stop them from building up, right? That's the question I was asking myself as we were wrapping up that fight, is if we could have did something with that first or second knock, and how do you do it? What does that look like? You don't just want to run willy-nilly at them, because then, okay, they just turned that 2v3 into 2v2. That happens so often. So the question is, how do you move from knocking one to now applying pressure and finishing off the team? Yes. Especially when they're at range, because once again, it's an indoor ship map, but there's still plenty of sniping lanes and all kind of other ranged options, and that's how that fight started before they moved over to us. Eventually, they were going on a flank. You and Fallen went, and I'm guessing you guys just met the whole team, as I was trying to still look in the main corridor, and from there it just kind of fell down, right?
Yep. You had a really good shot. I actually specifically, because I remember I went down and I died, and then my camera went to your POV, and dude, you did good with that railgun, man. I mean, they essentially just used numbers on you is all they did. And I remember you were trying to back up and reposition, and the heal, the I think maybe you had a Panacea kit, or you was trying to use a shield charge. You just didn't quite get it off in time, and they hit you with a few shots, and of course, and they got you. But you downed one of them, I think, with that railgun, and you had a good shot. You kind of kept them on their toes a little bit, despite the fact that they had 2 downs.
Yep. Nope. Funnel them in, bring them in. You win a 1v3 by fighting a 1v1v, right? Bring them in one at a time, but when you have no space to maneuver, no distance or covered, and when I fell off the ledge after using the thruster, the Vandal just came down with me and was not letting go of that pressure, which is what she should have done. That was a smart move, right? And I just couldn't get behind cover, because it's not like I know the map like the back of my hand to be able to know, okay, if I back up here and go left, I'll get behind a box. So once again, unfortunate ending to an amazing first experience, because once again, it begins with dying. You got to go and you got to play and you got to die, and you do that over and over again until eventually where we have a successful time, because we've played enough now to know what to expect and look for.
Dude, yeah, preach. You said that. You said that beautifully. And a skill that I need to continue to develop and work on is game sense. And quite frankly, just seeing the moment for what it is. And that Vandal that you're talking about had good game sense. And that Vandal knew, hey, the odds of me pushing this one destroyer that's already low, the chances, and I know they've got a railgun, so I know most likely he's not gonna hit the shot in close quarters. That, use the, just had the game sense to know, like, hey, the chances of me of winning this and getting this down are pretty high. That's kind of those moments that I, as a player, have to develop and get better. Hence, a specific moment I want to talk about is when I was streaming last night. You had not joined us yet. It was me, Fallen, and I think yes, because Bat did not play last night, and you joined us later. So we were queuing for our third, and there was a moment to where it was on Outpost. We had numbers advantages. We got a down. Don't remember who got the down, but one of us got a down. I knew there was a thief. You probably remember this as I'm talking about it because you were watching. The thief was on the run, and we were kind of like, we were on high ground, and I knew the thief was hurt because I put some bullets. I even knew the thief was cracked, and we both know. So I had the game sense to know, okay, this thief is cracked. All I've got to do is put just a few bullets. This thief is going down. But, hindsight's 2020. I did not take account for the third. The third was still alive somewhere in an unknown position. I put you said it best. Unchecked aggression. John Cena's interest. Ruthless aggression. That was me. Ruthless aggression. Without and I just went in too hard. I got tunnel vision on that thief, and I paid for it because as I was going, the third saw me, took angle on me, put a lot of shots in me. I chased her, I jumped down, and then I took more fall damage as I fell, and I saw the thief, and I actually put like 1 or 2 shots, but it wasn't enough because I had lost so much health from the third that put bullets in me, and then me falling, the thief just downed me. And I knew in that moment, I was like, I just put my team in a bad position. I think that third was a really good player because that third essentially won a 2v1 because because I know the thief used her power, so I know the thief didn't get back up there. At least it took a little bit. So I don't know how much that thief was involved in downing Fallen and the other team. I think it might have been Schultz, that guy we queued with, but that player, whoever he was, he had a really hard hitting gun. It was probably at least a superior, and I'd have to go back and watch the stream. I don't remember what happened, but I know that player, downed Schultz and then downed Fallen. So still, I'm just kind of guy like I'm never afraid to take blame. I'm never afraid to take criticism and just speak out and say, hey guys, that was on me. That was another moment where I just feel like that was really on me, man. Me going down, me not getting the down on that thief was a big deal because even if that guy at the top would have still won that 2v1, I should have been there for my team. I should have won that. I should have been better, and I should have been alive to help them clean that kill up, So that little micro mistake I made had yielded big results. Any thoughts on that?
So yeah, I mean, pursuing the thief up until the point where the thief disengages in a way you can't follow, right? Your recon, she can grapple down. She takes less fall damage than the recon shell. You following her down where you're going to fall, take a little fall stun, take fall damage, and then she'll probably lock iron sights with you better than you can on her because she could be anywhere down below now where you're falling in one spot. It's a tough one to finish off, right? If you had been a Vandal or Thief yourself, that's a little bit easier to follow as they follow, but without those abilities, you got to be careful. But yeah, as soon as you were taking shots in the back, That's where you got to stop looking at the pursuit and switch to damage mitigation. You're taking damage from someone who's giving you damage and not getting damage in return. That's the worst case scenario.
It is.
And then so yeah, as soon as that happened, that the pursuit should have stopped. You should have went back into cover. You knew the thief disengaged. She just jumped down. She ain't coming back up anytime soon.
Yep.
So from there, you could have healed, then helped your team out, and so on and so forth. And look, you're not the only one. A quick little side story, right? I'm on Outpost in a ranked match. I down one, kill one of 3 that's rushing me. I snipe another one to where his shield's cracking. He's at health with a railgun. The third comes into the bubble shield. One of our teammates is down. I make the conscious decision to rush the damaged person that's sniping across the way, so he doesn't start putting fire, thinking that my teammate has this third one. Though, needless to say, he gets knifed.
Right.
Then I started to turn around. Now I'm indecisive, and I just get shot between the two of them. And it's a thrown match where we had that win had I stayed and just helped my teammate with that third. So once again, back to the early point, we're on the same level. It is hindsight's 2020, but it's making those micro decisions in the moment of what is the best, and you got to look at all the pieces. But biggest thing was, as soon as you were taking free damage, that has to, like, you can't follow the thief in a way that was, okay, we're on feet and we're just walking. That's where you halt and heal now.
Mechanics are good, aim is good, but I feel like the skill, I'll speak of it on a Overwatch perspective. I think the skill that really takes you from a diamond player to a master player is, of course, obviously everything comes into effect. Aim, mechanics, technique, but I feel like game sense is just so huge. Seeing a moment for what it is, that is a skill all these years of playing competitive games and everything that I am still working on, and I'm on that journey and I'm developing.
You're right. And I mean, I can see it, right? I think that's why you and Bad both like Recon so much, because it helps fill in the pieces of that game sense. See, me, and maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, but to me, I actually, to some degree, Recon I struggle with, because I still have to learn that when Recon pings, that ping is basically out of date 3 seconds ago. Like, I got to remember that. Because it just pings them in that moment. After that, they can move, slide, grapple, do whatever till another pulse comes out.
Agreed.
And it messes up with my game way, because I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the ping and it's like a second and a half pass, and in a first-person shooter, that's forever. Got to remember that, right? But that's why Recon helps fill in the gaps. What you want to hope is then progress past that, where, okay, now you kind of have all the pieces and what to look for. Now you can go on without needing that snapshot, because your ears are going to tell you what you need to know. Absolutely. Your intuition is going to tell you what you need to know. Teams on top of flight control, we know what boxes they're going to probably hide behind, because they're the best boxes that's on flight control. But no, you definitely get there in time, and I'm still on that journey myself, and you never stop being on that journey.
Amen to that. Great. Well said. Well said. Last night, let's talk a little bit about last night. So we, you got back in the mix with Cryo again with me and Fallen, and we did 2 runs. You might have to jog my memory on how your overall second run, our first run last night went, but I can tell you our third run, for you, your third run, and then it was our second run last night. Went great, man. We finally got you extracted on Cryo Archive. A big losing streak for me was broken. That felt good to kind of, all right, we can do this. We can compete with these boys. We can win these fights. I probably will upload a clip to TikTok and YouTube here soon of us engaging in that team fight. But that was a wild fight too, man. There was bubble shields being thrown everywhere. I had an LMG. I got a down on somebody, but it was just purely a chaotic fight, and it was a 50, quite frankly, in my opinion, it was a 50-50. There was no height advantage. They had a bubble, well placed. We had a bubble, well placed. They were geared, we were geared, and it just kind of turned into a heads up after that. May the best team win, and we were due to come out on the right side, and buddy, we came out on the right side of that, and we got some I believe you got some gold gear from them boys, and I got some much needed resources. But the biggest thing that came out from that fight is you killed an assassin while they were in smoke, and that was one of your challenges you had to do to get all the to get mastery for the destroyer. So dude, huge accomplishment for you last night. Congrats on getting that. That is just awesome. Because I know there's only just a handful of people that's got destroyer mastered. I don't have anybody mastered, so that is awesome that you got to have that moment and to come out with a gold. Just speak on that match last night, man.
Yeah. So the gold that I got out was optic for I know Strider, but I call it the Mida multi-tool because that's what it is from Destiny. But that actually was a gift from Fallen. He had actually looted that way before that fight and gave it. That was like the rally, right? Like, oh, Atlas has a gold item for cryo. We getting out now, boy. So that fight starts off like usual. Close quarters fight in cryo seem to be. Everyone eventually, walks into the same hallway. Bubble shields are thrown down. You got this kind of stalemate going on as everyone's waiting to see when the first person goes down. I think it really tipped the scale because I'm pretty sure Fallen had the genius idea where he went up, threw a grenade into their bubble at the bubble itself to get rid of it, right? Because you can destroy the bubble emitter. That made it to where they really had to now retreat or push. As he's retreating back, a little bit of damage exchanges are coming, and the assassin makes a decision to use his ultimate, which sends out the disc in a straight line, right? So now they fill up the whole hallway with smoke. I think they had a thief on their team. I'm not 100%, but my point is
they did.
The only person that
they did, because that's who I sunk a lot of. I think that's the person I downed. But I do know I put a lot of damage. If I didn't down them, I put a lot of damage into them.
Yeah. So let's assume they don't have thermals. So the only person that helps is the thief because now no one can see. Sure enough, though, they decide to make that their push. The assassin moves up with the knife, which is a good call because I don't know if you know this or not, but like aim assist is non-existent in the smoke, but the knife still will auto lock on. So like when you're in that smoke, knife's better than most shotguns, kind of period.
Wow.
Because it can still track on and lock. So he did the right call, but we did the right call too, where we were on the edges of the smoke waiting for them to come out. And sure enough, the assassin came up on the backside near this little, looks like one of the hospital rolly carts. Downed him because I activated, because the one that I achieved was search and destroy has to be active while killing an enemy in smoke. And that's perfect for me because search and destroy will highlight them in the smoke. So my ultimate is a counter to enemies operating in the smoke area.
Very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, so he comes forward, shoot him, the rockets go off, he gets down. I get a couple of extra shots, so I'm really close to activating another volley. And that's when I was able to hit the next one, which I think was a Vandal. Once again, the immobilize makes it to where you can't go anywhere, right? That's now easy peekins. And then now the third one's in the hallways, the smoke is kind of clearing, and we shoot her and down her. So it was just one of those things where we played smart because we know we don't want to be in the smoke. And arguably, the smoke was the worst call from them because it took the vision from two of their players.
Yeah.
And we just pulled back. We didn't play that chaotic, crazy game, and it was just an easy, good cleanup from there. But Fallen forced their hand when he got rid of that bubble by destroying the barrier in this. And I think he did it with a Kim grenade, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But dude, to say that you got the search and destroy in smoke kill for your mastery shell on your first cryo extraction, yeah, that's a memory, right? Once again, back to Bungie memories, like that's a memory I will always have now because all those things happened at one time for this perfect storm of just pure bliss. Pure bliss.
Me and Bat has never talked about this on the podcast. I'm going to ask you, does this game sometimes not just feel like cinema?
Oh, it's...
If you think about it in that mindset, like especially runs like that, like this game, the graphics are so good. The gunplay is so good, and it's kind of like edgy. It's kind of, especially cryo, it's kind of spooky. It's tactical. Like who's around? Like, oh my god! Like I know there's a team above us, and you can literally hear like you hear like the footsteps. You hear scurrying around. Like it's cinema, dude. Like
Look, the amount of times you could catch me jumping on Dire Marsh when I'm in the AI uplink underground part and like the steam goes off. Like I'm like, oh, what's that? Okay, all right, cool. We're good, we're good. No, and once again, like to your point, tactical, right? Every sound matters. Like you can hear the sound of someone looking at their map. You can hear the sound of someone admiring their weapon inspection. Like get you a great headset and just be enveloped by all the sounds that are basically your radar, right? Telling you what's going on around you, enemies close, not close. But yeah, the highs, the lows, the turnarounds, the comebacks, the underdogs, the 1v, some number bigger than one. I mean, yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's downright magic. And once again, that's a Bungie game. That is a Bungie game.
Yes, sir. Yes,
They
sir.
do it fantastic.
And, I said it earlier. Like I'm all about edifying people. And speaking of magical moments, Batman, hi, how you doing, buddy? Listening in your car right now. I see you. See, I'm trying to talk in the future. I'm trying to talk future tense right here. But Batman, shout out to Batman. He did a stream on May the 21st, and he just went God mode, dude, on a perimeter map. I was so proud of him, dude. He won he was a team. They were at okay, where is the place that the warden used to spawn? What's that place called?
Overflow.
They were at Overflow. They got pushed by a team. Their random they were with went down, and then Fallen eventually went down, and there were like no picks. And Batman was in the building, and he got angle. He got lucky, and he got angle on the first guy, and he downed him. But he took advantage of that angle, and he downed him. But then where it really gets good is he then, of course, he got that down, so now it's a 2v1. And he like looped around. He went out of the building, and it's kind of hard to describe. But then it kind of turned into an open fight, and he just flat out he won the 2v1, and they were like fairly like near each other. And if memory serves me right, they were both shooting him. He just clutched. He did a great job, man. So shout out to Batman, May 21st, dude. I watched that stream. I was there, and he just had a great play, man. And that was also another really good night for him. I gotta take a minute and say, dude. So, May 20th, dude, this is crazy, dude. So I queued in a match of Outpost. I queued with these two guys, and they were both PC players because I still had crossplay turned on, so it was queuing me, PC or Xbox, just anybody. And it queued me with these two PC guys, and you could tell they were running together, based off their communication and everything. One was a little more passive, one was a little more, take charge, take lead and everything. Hey, this is what we're gonna do and everything. And I'm the kind of guy like, I never have a problem if somebody wants to, like kind of like you said earlier, Atlas, like somebody, let's just have one guy, one voice, one goal in mind, and everybody commit to it. I never have a problem, following that, especially if it makes sense and everybody's on the same page. But anyways, one guy, was kind of more, one guy was more passive, and one guy was more like, hey, let's do this. But they were cool dudes and everything, and we were having a good match. We killed rooks. We won 2 team fights. We looted the area really good. We got into Pinwheel relatively quickly. I think there was like 10 minutes left on the clock when we got into Pinwheel. And it was good. We got a lot of loot, and we just did what we needed to do. But these goobers, we went out the vent. Okay, so there wasn't a lot of time left because we got held. So remember, I said we got into Pinwheel with like 10 minutes left. Well, we got held up with some things because I think we fought another team in there. There was Rook engagement, and we had to do drone. We had to unlock Drone Wing, and we had to unlock Destroy. We had to do all the mechanics and everything. I even think we got it. We did, bro. We even got into the Red Room. I mean, it was just one of those runs where just everything was coming together. All of our backpacks were our pockets were full. We were eating. We were gonna eat good that night. We were feeding the families that night, and I've never in my life seen somebody fumble at the 1 yard line like these guys did. God, dude, well, boy, I wish I would have been recording, man. So we took the vent, the little underground vent where you can, you have to crouch, and then you can drop down out of pinwheel. And I have no clue what happened, but I was the first one to go out. So these two guys were behind me. The first guy, he just fell off the map. I don't know what he did, but he just fell. He had golds, dude. And his body bag spawned in the vent. And I'm over here like, ain't no way that just happened. And then the second guy, the third guy, his friend, makes it out of the vent safely like I did. But, then there was kind of that friendship, like that friendship dilemma, like, oh no, that's my bro. Like, I can't leave him. And then he uses thief and he tries to grapple back up there. And then that goober falls off the map and his body bag spawns up there. Keep in mind, I didn't say this. This is final exfil. There's only like 40 seconds left on the clock. And I'm low on health, and it's raining fire, and enemy, and there's still a little ways to go. And I just sit there, and they were just they were just blowing up the mic, and I just had a moment. I just stared at them, and I was like, guys, I can't get y'all. You're at the vent. I can't. And luckily, one of them finally said, "Go, Old Town, just go, just go." So I went. I was probably going anyway, but of course, I took off running, and I'm the only one that was almost like a 20K run for me. And they had like 15K or so apiece. They had good loot, dude. They fumbled so hard, dude. I've never seen that before. And they immediately, let's just say they definitely did not stay in the queue with me. I'm sure, but there's literally nothing. I was triaged. There's nothing I could have done for them guys, but that was truly something to see right there, man. Golly, man. So the rest in peace to them guys. Speaking of fumbling at the 1 yard line, Atlas, we also on Outpost, you and I and Fallen, boy, did we fumble. Boy, did we have a run where we fumbled at the 1 yard line. Almost the exact same scenario, except for the vent part. I didn't realize Rambo was on the map. We had a run where we had wiped other teams. We had gotten into pinwheel. We did all the pinwheel things. We got the loot. It was final. I think it was either final extraction or we just were going to there was just time on the map.
We were going to a locked one. We had a red card, and we were going to flight control, the top of flight control, to activate the restricted exfil.
This is on stream, and I have, I don't want to be one of these content creators that always posts the glory moments, because that's not who I am. So I am all about posting content, as weird as this sounds, where I don't win, where I fail. So people see that, like, this is a regular guy. Like, he does not win. I definitely do not win all my fights.
Look, Old Town, he's a normal Joe, right? He loses too. He's like the rest of it. He's a very relatable guy, he's not just getting all these W's like he says all the time.
I promise you, all the cult, baby, of running out of breath, the cult. I do not win most of my fights. Most of the time I lose. But boy, did we fumble the ball. I have went back and rewatched this. I feel a little bit better because, like, it was a moment like, okay, so, like, I'll walk you through what my brain was in that moment. My brain was, okay, first of all, we were fighting ads. So it honestly took my brain a little bit to process, holy crap, you've been downed by a runner. Then the next step, my brain said, okay, we have a threat. I don't know where this threat is coming from. I have a bubble. I'm going to bubble down. And I bubbled down. Then the next thing my brain said was, hey, I'm recon. I have an ult. I should probably use my ability. So I did not hear because it was adrenaline, high energy, high intensity, like split second kind of moment. I did not hear your comm. Old Town, he's in the shield. Like, he's there. He's right behind you. That rook knifed me as I was actively trying to use my ultimate. So then he downs me. By the way, listeners, this was not a team. This is a rook. This was Rambo the Rook. We met him. He's out there. Stay away. You watch your back. Rambo the Rook. He's out there. He downs me. And next thing you know, Fallen's in a 1v1. He got Fallen. And he knifed him too. It was crazy. I promise you. Well, I can say now that clip is out there. It's on TikTok and it's on YouTube Shorts because I post it from my POV. But I promise you, everybody, if you look hard enough, somewhere out there, there is somebody that posted a video with the title, "Look what I did to these three nerds." As real good, dude. I can't be. Obviously, I was frustrated and more or less just taken back at the moment. But dude, I've slept since then. Congrats to that rook, dude. Like, what a play.
Well deserved.
What a well-deserved play he made.
Look, I gotta give Fallen a shout out. He said it perfectly. I got touched. I don't know how I feel about it.
Touched. Look. We did by that rook.
Look, great advice. Until you are back in the lobby, the game's not over, especially as trios with rooks coming in. And you know what? We killed multiple rooks on the way out of Pinwheel that were either looting, waiting, whatever it may be, right? And we just got to a point where that guard was down. We had ads, activated Search in the Shore to take care of the ads. Damage is coming my way, so I'm not being super reactive to like little tidbits or something else that could be bursting. And just the perfect storm took us out. The bubble, you activating your ult. He's knifing, so the bubble's perfect for his knifing, right? Look, until you are out with the goodies, the game's not over yet.
Those goodies are not yours until you officially extract.
Yep. And once again, I want them to have theirs because he deserves it. My guard was down. We got killed. Our guard was down. We got killed by a rook. We deserved it. We let our guard down because we were so close to the finish line. We thought there's no way someone could take us down now.
I mean, quite frankly, you said it perfect. We probably was cocky to a degree. We let her go. It was more so not so much cocky, but more so we just let our guard down. We were relaxed. We dropped the teams. We won team fights. We were feeling good, and we just weren't. I'll speak for me. Yep. I was not paying attention, and the last thing I expected was Rambo Ultra Instinct Rambo the Rook.
Dude, comes with that knife.
That knife, bro. We got by that knife, dude. That was crazy. Oh my god!
And what he had now 2 minutes tops with 3 backpacks filled with stuff. That no way he got it all out, right? He got some goodies, but like those just wasted stuff. It's like, man, but yeah, well played, well earned, and a good reminder of it ain't over till it's over.
Amen to that. It ain't over till it's over. And you can take that in a positive way too. If any of our listeners right now would like to watch that clip, you can go to old_town south on YouTube. It's in my short section. You can't miss it. I called it Rambo the Rook, Ultra Instinct. You'll know it. You'll see it. And then you can also go to old_town south on TikTok, and it's over there as well. So I posted that video on multiple sources. sources, and y'all get to see my goofy face and my reaction and everything. So I did. I just couldn't help myself. I had to post that one of me fumbling the ball hard. And also, yeah, I've got other good stuff. If anybody of the listeners I know would like to see other moments, yeah, go check out my YouTube and check out some of that content. I'm on the Tiki Talkie now, so you can even go see some of my stuff on the Tiki Talkie. We are close. Atlas, we've been going at this thing, man, for almost an hour and 40 minutes now. I had a feeling me and you would both have a lot to say, and this has been a great episode. I've got a few more things I want to talk about, and then we'll put a fat bow tie on this. So I was drinking my coffee this morning and turned on a little YouTube as my son was kind of still in his sleep state. He's kind of waking up and everything. Turned on some YouTube, and I was watching a content creator that I enjoy, and he's actually he's a really underrated content creator, and he posts a lot of cool, like, I don't want to give out because I don't want to say too much because of what I'm about to say. The content creator, the guy did nothing wrong. He's a really cool dude, and he was not the issue in this situation I'm about to say, but this guy, man, this guy I was watching was live streaming, and dude, somebody he was rolling with, they were playing ranked cryo, and one of his teammates, man, just went scorched earth live on stream, and he was running out, and he was getting picked. And every time he was getting picked, he was saying things like, I ain't playing this game. I'm done. I'm not playing this game. I hate this game. Just had something to say every time he went down, even though it was his own doing. It was his own fault, And, they were always left trying to pick up his slack, And dude, and there was one match, they queued again. Vibes were already getting kind of weird because the guy was complaining a lot. Well, then they queued again, and the guy does the same thing. He runs out, and he gets got by, I wasn't watching his POV, but he goes down, and then he puts the streamer I was watching and his other friend in a bad situation. Well, of course, we kind of know how this story ends. Then the enemy team that got that down on this dude pushed him, slid in and honestly made pretty quick work of it and gunned him down with shotguns. And then the teammate had the gall to say, do you guys not have ears? What are you doing? And not to mention this whole time while he was down, oh, what do you got? He's doing this. Or what do you go? Oh, I hate this game. Oh, he's coming at you from this way. Like, if you've read my notes, Atlas, there's I've got segment 3. Shut up. You're dead. Shut up. You're dead.
DED dead.
You're dead. You're the dead guy. You don't speak. I will just I got a few things I want to say off this. Number 1, don't be that guy. Don't be that teammate. Don't be that guy with, if you're playing with your friends or you're queuing up with other people, just everybody has bad days. Everybody has days where something's going on that day, and maybe you're logging on the game already not in a great mood, or you've logged on and you're in a good mood, but that kind of gets disrupted because the games are not going well. We've all been there. But don't be the guy putting other people down, especially when you are fumbling the ball. If you're playing games like Apex Legends or Marathon, in these games where like you get down, but you can still talk to your teammates as you're down, like there's a time, if you've got something productive to say that you truly know from the bottom of your heart is beneficial to the team, say it. But there comes a point where like you got to watch how much you're talking, because you have now put your team, especially if there's been no trades, you have put your teammates in a 2v3 scenario. Now the other team has numbers advantage. Your team has to lock in extra hard. They got to do overtime. Don't be that guy that's just spamming just again, I'm not saying don't never say nothing, because you may actually have something productive to say that will help your teammates. But if you're just sitting there complaining about why you went down and this and that, don't be that guy. And what made this I forgot to say this, what made we could probably talk another 30 minutes, Atlas, about this one sentence alone I'm about to say. Then he went on this big rant about, oh my God, it was a PlayStation player that downed me, and he's got controller. Yo, aim assist is so busted on controller. If I was on controller, if I was a console player, I'd done be pinnacle. But dude, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And dude, you'll know something crazy. As he was sitting there complaining, the other teammate checked him immediately. He was like, dude, first of all, you've got to stop talking. We're fighting right now. And two, he said, PC players have a lot more advantages over console players than you think. Like, the movement alone is like enough, dude. But like, then, like I said, the second match, and then he had the gall to say, do you guys not have ears? I'm sitting here thinking, wow, what a terrible teammate. And also, it's a whole nother thing too. I think a lot of people don't think about this, Atlas. Like, if you were streaming, Atlas, would you want me acting like an absolute moron on your stream? Would you want me just being negative and just saying inappropriate things or whatever during your live stream where kids could be potentially watching? Would you want that, Atlas?
Whoa. Sometimes inappropriate things can be funny, but no, absolutely.
Okay, well, yeah, of course, yeah. But like, would you want me? You know what I'm getting at? Like,
no,
you wouldn't want nobody does. You wouldn't want me acting like an absolute a dingus and a buffoon while you are live streaming. Like, I don't think people are always have that awareness. Like, hey, Old Town South is streaming right now. Chill the crap out. Hey, Atlas is streaming right now, and he's got a little bit of a following. Chill out. Don't say dumb things. Like, I don't know. I don't know how well I don't know how well I put all that into words. But the moral of the story is, don't be this guy. Especially if you're rolling with a squad in high intensity lobbies, like Cryo Archive ranked. Like, your buddy's got to lock in. Like, clearly you're a good player, you wouldn't have made it there. But it was just kind of baffling to me that it was just kind of baffling that the friend put the streamer in a really awkward scenario. And then, like, the guy actually kept streaming, and like, he got in like another Discord. He had to get in another Discord call and say, hey, yo, we need to talk for a second. Like, are you good? Like, you know, like they had like a whole nother conversation. And then my son woke up and I had to quit watching after that. But the moral of the story is, like, me and Bat talk about how the time we bragged on the marathon community about how positive most everybody we encounter is, and that is still true. Hence, you being on this podcast right now. Obviously, there's going to be some poopers. I'm not saying every single experience is going to be positive. You know, you're going to occasionally get that one negative Nancy or you know angry dude or whatever. But I'm really happy, man. Most people are pretty cool and are on the same page. And but yeah, don't no matter what you play, Overwatch, Apex, Halo, what I said Overwatch twice, whatever, like, be the good teammate, be the positive, even when it's hard. Try your best to keep things as positive as you possibly can. Any thoughts on any thoughts on anything I said right there?
Oh, absolutely. First off, especially when you can see the kill cam, backseat driving. Look, like, you can have tips and tricks all you want, but then you're seeing the same thing they're seeing. Last thing they need is another voice in their head telling them what to do while they're trying to focus on what to do. If you have some relevant stuff, give it. But other than that, let them think and let them do, because you controlling them and complaining in their ear where they can't focus and they're thinking of doing something, but you're telling them to do something different. Like, no, they're the ones still alive. Let them do what they're doing. I think it's even amplified worse, too, by Marathon, because loot's on the line, right? Like, this is not a free ride. Sure, maybe you took a free kit, but you probably looted some stuff, grabbed some stuff. You want to get out. So the pressure to get out to survive is more than ever before. You can have sometimes, right? So, and I mean, I'm using this very loosely. Sometimes, yeah, a teammate makes a bad decision. They're the reason we lost that fight, right? But unless that teammate offers that up, I am always someone, what did I do wrong or what could I have done better to win? And I don't care if it's just me on the team or I have 100 other people on the team. The only thing I'm looking at is I did something wrong or not as efficient as I could have done. Because that is constructive. It can be improved. It can be worked on. Me complaining about my teammates doesn't help at all unless I'm actually providing constructive stuff to my teammate, and more importantly, the teammate wants that constructive criticism, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, you go down. Yeah, it sucks, but keep it to yourself. Move it along. They're in a fight trying to win. Your bad vibes and energy and just advice and being in a pissy mood isn't helping them out.
It's not helping anybody out. In another game that struggles with this really bad is Overwatch. A lot of finger pointing in Overwatch. It's never about. It's all a lot of times. It's, hey, Old Town, you're the tank. You're doing this wrong. Hey, Old Town, you're the healer. You're the support. You're not healing me enough. You're not doing that. It's never about, well, what am I lacking? What do I need to be doing more for the team to help the team out? Overwatch. I could get into I could get into a big WWE promo about that, but Overwatch has that problem really bad.
Yeah. And controller versus keyboard, right? To make it very simple. Okay, well, controller's so much better. Plug in a controller into your PC and play controller.
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, to me, it's kind of like, let's use Marathon as an example. It's kind of like the shells. Can you win because you're a destroyer versus a triage? Well, sure, if you lean into the strengths of your shell, right? But other than that, they're pretty well balanced compared to each other, right? So same thing. Does controller have a slight advantage in some aspects than mouse and keyboard and vice versa? Yeah. So you pick your one and you work with it, but like, it's nothing that is so high amount different that, yes, the only reason you're losing is because you're not losing a controller. No. These game companies, especially Destiny, ported over to PC a long while ago. They know the aim and all that and what values were good and feel competitive. Once again, Bungie Magic. Apex for a while had to adjust theirs, and I think at one point they even said, like, nope, we feel like the aim assist is now fine. Everything's looking good. Like they have balance and tweaked for that. That is not a really, in my opinion, strong conversation nowadays as to why you lost.
There's obvious a little bias to what I'm about to say because we are controller players, but I feel like Atlas, if anything, that's all we got going for us is, yeah, we got some aim assist.
Yep.
But buddy, the PC players, if you play on like a souped up $5,000 Alien Forged, Star Forged PC with so-and-so frame rates and the best keyboard, the best mouse, the gigabyte, the terabyte internet, the super high fast internet, like, dude, like PC players, like, in my this is anecdotal, my personal experience and opinion, PC, if you play on PC, you're always going to have a leg up on me as a console player. Yeah, I might have some aim assist on you, and I will not deny that, and I will acknowledge that yeah, my crosshair is going to lock on you. It's going to help me out a little bit more. Like, you've got to use your true aim versus I don't have to quite as much, but your movement is night and day compared to my movement.
Well, not only that, right? But, the reason controller needs aim because it is not as precise as a mouse, right? So we do need mechanics and coding in the game to help. That's something that was figured out a long time ago for controllers to feel good while shooting. But you got to look at multiple skills, right? So like listing out the skills that a Marathon needs to be successful, that you got to master as a player, right? Take looting as a skill, inventory management as a skill. This is way easier on a keyboard where you can very quickly move, equip stuff, slide stuff, mouse and keyboard. Where we're still going with that drag. Please,
we're
control
just dragging it, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you gotta remember, marathon is beautiful because you have the ability skill, the gun skill, the grenade skill, the movement skill, the shooting skill. That's all about just playing the game, right? Your active combat. But then, like a BR, like an Apex, you have map skills, loot skills, rotation skills. And even still, at the end of it all, the ultimate goal is not to kill everyone in the lobby. You got an extraction skill. You got to know how to get out and get out safely. Controller has advantages at the close quarters combat aim assist values, right? Versus a mouse. Other than that, it's an even kill or mouse and keyboard take the lead, right? So at the end of the day, you choose the play style, mouse and keyboard controller that you want. Know that it's not a crutch in any way. You play to your strengths, which is the one you're most comfortable with, and that has nothing to do with why you're winning. That would be my personal opinion on how I handle it.
Yeah. Great feedback, buddy. Great feedback, and I pretty much am on the same page. I'm on the exact same page as you on that. Okay, getting close to the end here, everybody. We've got update 1.0.9, kind of being coined the Warden Hunt update. It's the final pre-reset event patch for Season 1 meant to bridge the gap until the big reset. Yeah, so kind of some things that's going on right now with 1.0.9. We got the Warden Hunt, so Ghost Wardens, Toxic Wardens, Scorch Wardens, they're in unique places now. Like sometimes you can spawn into an area and the Warden is like already there. And it's kind of wild. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because it's kind of mixing things up a little bit. I believe they're dropping if not guaranteed, like the chances of them to drop like cryo keys are exponentially higher now.
Guaranteed.
It is
Yeah.
guaranteed. I was thinking it was. I'm noticing every time we hit Pinwheel and you hit that red room, there's almost a guaranteed cryo key in that room every time.
Well, there is on the desk for that one. That's been the case, but now the Warden's dropping it. That used to be a chance. Now it's guaranteed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Everyone has got a 50% XP buff to help you hit level 100. I've been noticing this because I'm like 3 levels away from hitting level 100. So that's a goal that I definitely have my eyes set on, that I know I will attain before
You're gonna hit, yeah.
That's gonna happen. In the notes here it says unlocked cryo archive 24/7 queue. So I logged on a while ago to confirm this. From what I saw, regular cryo is not active right now on Sunday, but ranked cryo
That is what they meant, yeah. Because it's ranked, that's why it's you got cryo now till like the end of the season, basically.
Yeah, you do. So if one dares to go not only to regular cryo but ranked cryo, it is there. And hey, like it's one of those things. Like get your reps in, man. Like it's gonna be the end of the season. You cannot carry that loot with you. Don't be afraid to get up in there and test the waters with cryo a little.
Well, look to interject a little bit. It might actually be a great time because it's following the ranked. So a bronze key run into cryo only requires 3K of gear versus 5. So you can get into cryo now cheaper than ever before.
Right. This is true. True. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, let's see here. Making sure I didn't glaze over anything. They're gonna have a small background maintenance patch called it'll be update 1.0.91. I believe that's going to be Tuesday. From what I'm seeing in my notes, it's going to be like a little stability hotfix to prep the servers for the end of the season and for upcoming season 2. Everything's going to wipe. Except for like your cosmetics and your collectibles that you've earned. We're going to get, they're going to experiment with new modes. They're going to experiment with supposedly some hybrid PvP and some PvE. They're going to experiment with some pure PvE. They're going to experiment. They're going to bring some duos back. We've got Night Marsh. And there's honestly no telling. A lot of times when I read patch notes, you'll read what all the big things are coming, but a lot of times there's even like more little subtle things that sometimes you missed in the patch notes, or sometimes it's just not, I've noticed not always even mentioned. So I think season 2 is going to be good, man. I'm really excited. Obviously, marathon fan, hence marathon podcast, but
What, really?
lol. But I'm pumped about it, and I do firmly in my heart believe there's gonna be an influx of players. I'm excited about the influx of players that's gonna come in. I hope those numbers are big. I know, man. I know there's Destiny players watching this game on the outs, and I know there's probably still several thinking about it. Despite the drama that we talked about earlier, I still believe there's some Destiny players watching, and perhaps, maybe the PvE will get them a little interested and want to come over and test the waters out a little bit. But, outside of all that, I think the reset. I'm going back on my answer that I gave in a couple of episodes ago. I'm gonna change my stance. I'm actually kind of pumped about the reset. It's going to be kind of nice to, and we're really not gonna. We will. It's ultimately going to be. We will see. But it's going to be kind of nice, not everybody to have outlands and long shots for a little bit. There'll be a little more grace time when you queue up in perimeter and dire marsh. It's going to be a little more volatile. People are running weird, wild weapons because that's all they have. They don't have much. Alluding to what you said, Atlas, I'm pumped about the new contracts and the lore that's going to follow these new contracts. Super pumped about that. So putting a big fat bow tie on this thing, do you got any thoughts on season 2? Any thoughts about anything I said there?
Yeah, one thing to add just real quick about the patch notes. The other thing too that I would say that's an important thing to consider going forward right into the future seasons is the self-revive speed nerf. That went from, depending on your stat, from a range of 12 seconds to 5 seconds to self-revive, to now it's 16 seconds to 12 seconds. Mm-hmm. I think that has changed the flow of battle, as well as you have more time to act and move and take advantage of your knock, where before, especially this late in the season, everyone has self-revives and they're picking each other up like whack-a-mole because you can't finish them. So I think that helps wrap up fights quicker, so you're not getting third party.
Batman and I had a little bit. I'm going to interrupt just for a very quick second. Please, I hope I don't break your train of thought. Batman and I kind of had a little bit different opinion. He was kind of more on the side with, man, the nerf kind of feels bad on self revives, because especially he's like when you're on the receiving end of it. I'm more on the end, and when we get him on the next episode, he may have some thoughts he wants to say, capitalizing on that. I'm more on the end. I like the nerf because, like what you said, I like that. Hey, I knocked Jimmy. I got more time because, like you said, also everybody's got self revives now. I got a little more time to work the space and to focus on his downing his other two allies and taking advantage of the down, versus when we were in that phase where it was still like 7 seconds and everybody had self revives, you almost had the thirst. I mean, seriously, yeah. The incentive to thirst was huge because you knew they were going to get up like very shortly.
Yep. Nope. And to me, thirsting never feels good. I love finishers, right? I'm obsessed with finishers. I love coming up to someone and stabbing him in the chest. That is how I want my battles to wrap up if I had to pick. Then having to thirst people just because if you don't, they're gonna get behind a box and self-revive in 3 seconds. Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, giving people more room to down to be rewarded for downing someone is good, right? I think the self-revives are definitely a lot more of, yes, they can help your team out when they don't have to come and expose themselves to get to you. Or honestly, in solos when you get downed by a bot, and it was a stupid thing, having the ability to pick yourself up to where that run isn't over, that feels really, really good. But a team of 3, it was a little much to the point where it felt, and then once again, maybe they'll shrink this and meet this back in the middle at some point, but I think it needed to go in the other direction one way or the other. Because, like I said, it was just whack-a-mole. If you didn't finish them off, they just kept getting back up.
It's true. They really did. They really did. So I think they're going a good direction with that. And I'm already liking the battle flow, as you alluded to. I already like the battle flow a little bit better. Okay, everybody. The cult of running out of breath. We have been this is, I think, officially been our longest episode. We have been free balling for freaking over 2 hours now. And Atlas, I knew you would, and honestly, I didn't want to say I intentionally did not want you to prep too much. I did not want you to overthink it, because that is when this podcast is at its best. Just two guys, friends, talking around the table and just talking about something that they love, and just that's when these things are at its best. You done great. I knew you would. And with all this being said, I should have this is something I should have probably asked you pre-show, pre-lobby, but Atlas, you know what I'm about, probably know what I'm about to say, because I ask this every time. Is there anywhere, do you want to flex anything? Do you have any platforms that you would like for the listeners to come find you on?
Look, I'm nothing special, but I'm not a hard guy to find, right? I'm on Twitter. I haven't streamed, but I can sure start if people are interested. I'm on Reddit, AtlasForged, one word, right? Pretty easy peasy. But yeah, eventually at some point you can look and see pictures of my family. I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm a family man from Louisiana, so if there's something out there, there's probably an AtlasForged, and it's probably me.
Well, hey, that's all I am too, brother. I'm a family man from Tennessee, and that's awesome. So, guys, you heard him. If you would be, you said you have well, obviously, duh, you have a Twitch because you. Duh, you have a Twitch because you come over if I said hi. Yeah, hey guys, if go give AtlasForged a follow on Twitch, and let's give this guy some incentive to possibly get into the streaming game. That would I know that would probably mean a lot to him. And if you are on Xbox and you like what this guy brings to the table, and you'd be interested in playing with him sometime or anything, you can let me know or reach out to him whisper him on his Twitch. That might be something to get lined up. I'm all about, I've said it, you know me, I'm all about building people up. So if there was any way, Atlas, I can build you up, I would be more than happy to use what little platform that I do have to build you up, man. For everybody, I am your host, Old Town South. This has been Running Out of Breath, episode 7. You can find me, obviously, here on the podcast. We're pretty much everywhere now. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on freaking iHeartRadio. The episodes are on YouTube. You can also, and the YouTube is old_town south. Can't miss it. When you type that in, you'll see the Running Out of Breath logos. You'll see all the things. You'll know it's me. You'll know. That is where I've been kind of red hot lately with posting shorts, and it's quite amazing to me the ones that the algorithm pushes and the ones that gets views versus the others. It's interesting how that works. I am also on the Tiki-Taki. You can find me on the Tiki-Taki at old_town south, and you can see me in all my shenanigans. You can see Rambo the Rook killing me on any of those two sources that you want to see. But man, yes, this has been episode 7 of Running Out of Breath. We have brought on AtlasForged on this episode, and I'm telling y'all, I'm not hard to get a hold of. If you ever, like Atlas, want to reach out, you can email me. That source is like in Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You should see like a way you can email us, whisper me on Twitch, comment on any of my YouTube videos. The notification should let me know. If you ever want to come play, you ever want to reach out, I'm not a hard guy to get a hold of. So hence, Fallen, is the living, breathing proof. Love you all. This has been a great episode, and I will see you all out there. I'm coming for you, loot. Actually, no, it's quite the other way around. I'm sure you will be downing me, and you will be taking my loot, and I will be contributing to the community. Love you all. See you guys on episode 8 very soon. Stay classy out there.